or the 250 commission. So 3 different hats, and our relationship and partnership with the Harvard Civil War Heritage Area runs very deep. Not only for being involved on board of directors and advisory council, but actually my predecessor was a founding member, John Fiesler, a part of the Civil War Heritage Area. And in the early years, Liz would office out of the visitor center here. So part of the Civil War Heritage Area is sort of the little bird that flew out of our But this award today and the project behind it, we actually provided a grant, tourism reinvestment and promotion product program that comes out of our hotel tax to make this possible. And just the synergy of this project, generating over 100 nights, hotel nights in Frederick County, and just the visitors we saw, the synergy, the action, it's a whole different community. It's GeoTour. So it's amazing, basically. So we're very pleased and happy to be involved. And I now want to turn it over to Emily.
Thank you, David. All right, I don't think I asked for a microphone, and I don't think I need it, but I'll stand kind of here because it's near the lavalier. This is also being live streamed by the Maryland Historical Trust as well. So my name is Emily Hubner. I know many of you, but not all of you. I am the Director of Operations and Programs for the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area. And we have a great crowd here today, and thank you all for attending. I know we have folks from Carroll, Frederick, and Washington counties and beyond here today. And I want to recognize some of the folks that I see. I know that we have Senator Karen Lewis Young here today, Delegate Ken Kerr, Delegate Chris Fair, Jocelyn Nolasco is here for Delegate Karen Simpson, and Frederick County Council Member MC Keegan Ayer. Thank you all so much for attending, and I hope I didn't forget anyone. So thank you all. I also want to recognize some of our officials related to the commemoration of the semi-quincentennial. I've been practicing. The 250th, we're there now. Everybody needs to say it, in public history. Isela Bravo and Sean Butcher are here, our co-chairs for the Frederick County 250th Commission. Thank you for attending. Sean is also a former board president for the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area. And I also want to recognize Michelle Johnson is here, director of the Maryland 250 Commission. So we are so glad to be hosting this at the Frederick Visitor Center, since Visit Frederick was a key early funder. Thank you. Oh, I also want to recognize Brad Young just came in. County Council, is that correct? County Council, I knew it. Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry about that. Thank you so much for attending. So Visit Frederick, as David said, was a key early funder that made this project possible with a trip grant. And also Charlotte Davis is here from the Rural Maryland Council, which was also a key funder to provide critical matching funds with a big breath here, Maryland Agricultural Education and Rural Development Assistance Fund. We call it a MARDAF grant. Thanks also go to the Maryland Geocaching Society. I reached out to their what do they call it, the core group, the president, etc. And there's a big event happening around this time as well, but I'm so pleased that we have representatives here from the geocaching community. And so thanks go to the Maryland Geocaching Society for making a generous donation to the project and ensuring that we were able to provide geocoins and other prizes like path tags and flash tags to geocachers who explore the GeoTour. I also want to note I have basically a co-lead for this project, Mark Newberger here, but I'm going to get into his involvement a little bit later. So now I would like to ask you all a question. I know the answer to this question for some of you, but not all. How many of you know what geocaching is? Wonderful, good. And so geocaching, as you know, is essentially a real-world treasure hunt using GPS coordinates. You can use any GPS-enabled device or your phone. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the geocaching corner over there. Participants use an app to find hidden containers or to find hidden digital coordinates as well at specific locations. And what you need to know is there are millions of geocaches hidden all around the world. And there is a passionate global community who seek them out. So now another question for you. Who here has actually gone geocaching? All right. So those of you who have not gone geocaching can correct that today. So the QR code that we have up there on the screen will take you to our GeoTour page on the geocaching website. And it'll prompt you to download the app on that page, or you can tap, there's a sidebar that allows you to sign up for a geocaching account, and you can start your own geocaching account and start a new tradition today. And you can claim your first find here at the Visitor Center. The Visitor Center cache is not part of our GeoTour, but I will tell you that it is part of a series of caches all around the country, and I believe it is the key hide that you have to find in the state of Maryland. Is that correct? It's unique to the whole state, so you can get started with a very important one right away. So our GeoTour project also represents a special geocaching opportunity, like that special one here in the Visitor Center. GeoTours are a curated collection of geocaches that lead you on a journey. It's based around a theme or a location, and our GeoTour highlights the 250 years of history that you can discover within the heart of the Civil War heritage area. That's Carroll, Frederick, and Washington counties. Geocachers find the caches along the GeoTour, and once they reach a certain number of caches, they can turn in something called a geocaching passport that we've designed here at the Visitor Center, and they can redeem it for a special geocoin. And so far, 242, probably more than 242 now, passports have been turned in by individuals, couples, families. That 242 represents the minimum number of people who have turned in those passports. So I didn't learn all of this about geocaching all on my own. The heart of the Civil War heritage area is very lucky to have an expert in this subject as our guide and as a friend for over 10 years now. We were just discussing in the Visitor Center about the previous iterations of geocaching efforts that we've made. So Mark Newberger is basically the co-lead for this project. It would not have happened without him. He told us everything we needed to know. He helped us understand the logistics of what we needed to accomplish. And so I want to say thank you so much to Mark for your countless hours spent on this project. We were down to weekly meetings by the end, of course, and he would always patiently answer my questions and help me manage this project, and it just wouldn't have happened without him. So thank you to Mark for this project, and also for being our connection to the geocaching community that we have come to know quite well. We found that it is tight-knit and funny and adventurous, and it has so warmly welcomed us. And I also want to make sure to recognize someone who is not physically with us today, Kristen Newberger, Mark's late wife, who we also came to know and love as well. And I know I speak for the entire Heritage Area team when I say that we were all made better to have known her warmth, enthusiasm, and kindness. And so I really appreciate our connection to you and your family. And so we know she was beloved by the geocaching community, and so are you. And I want to recognize the other geocachers who answered your call when we needed help to place all of the caches across the landscape. And so thank you to, we have Kathy Moran here today, and Bob Jarbo, apologies. Danny Rinaldi is here. And I also want to recognize Dwight Wingert and Jerry Spickler. And so we already knew this was a remarkable community of people, but your willingness to jump in and help place caches, and in the case of Danny, coordinate the technical cache approvals so that we were ready to go on launch day back in September, it really highlighted that for us. And so most of you here today in attendance are the people who helped make this GeoTour possible, because I also mean cache hosts and the sites that have agreed to have hidden caches on their properties, in their museums, and on their grounds. And so all of you, sites, geocachers, funders, we're here to recognize your role in making this award, and most importantly, the GeoTour possible. Okay, so what does the GeoTour mean for heritage tourism? I want to make sure to share some of our latest numbers with you because I found them to be very eye-opening. So since we launched in September of 2025, the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area US 250th GeoTour has attracted 650 individual accounts. Each account, remember, generally represents more than one person. It can be a couple, it can be a whole family, people geocache together. And so far, they come from 5 countries. You know, of course, the United States, Canada, Czechia, Germany, and the United Kingdom. And so people are traveling internationally, and they are finding our GeoTour and exploring our region and going places they may not have gone if it weren't for the GeoTour. So domestically, they've come from more than 29 states. In fact, more than 2/3 of users come from outside of Maryland. And that's close states like Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, of course, but also Ohio, Texas, Montana, Washington State. And so again, they might be here for different reasons. Maybe they're here for a wedding or traveling for business. But then once they're here, if they're geocachers, they open their app and they find out what caches are near them. And the GeoTour is the hook to take them on a journey through our 3 counties in Carroll, Frederick, and Washington counties. And so those players have generated 5,320 total logs. That means 5,320 individual visits to your sites in our heritage area are being registered thanks to the GeoTour. And those visits add up to a combined 1,385 days spent on the GeoTour. And the average participant spends 2.25 days with us. We designed it with overnight stays in mind, and we are finding that it is working. And so I mentioned the GeoTour passport that visitors can redeem here for a special GeoCoin. And so we're able to collect more detailed information from people who turn in their GeoTour passport. So we have found 219 of those 242 reported stopping for a meal or a snack. 195 bought gas while they were here. 89 did other shopping. And significantly, 124 people documented overnight stays. So those of us in public history and also the tourism world know, you don't always know the impact of your work after you send it out into the world. And so it is very satisfying to have such substantial data to know the true impact of this project and the difference it is making. And of course, it goes beyond economic development. Geocachers have posted 825 photos while traveling on the GeoTour. I have seen many cute kids, many cute dogs, lots of homemade crafts going into geocache boxes. Some geocachers are going through the GeoTour as quickly as they can. They're just trying to check all those boxes. But many others are taking their time and they're reading the signage and they're having a visit and they're talking to staff on site. And so every day I receive email updates with comments left on the caches online. And over people are telling us how interesting the sites are, how much they're learning, and the ways that they're personally connected to the history that they're finding there. And so the mission of the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area is to, with our partners, preserve and promote the historic sites, towns, cultural landscapes, and diverse stories in Carroll, Frederick, and Washington County, Maryland. We get to see the GeoTour doing that as it introduces hundreds of people from across the country to some of the places that make our region special. The vision of the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area has always felt a little harder to measure for me. A vast and diverse audience engages meaningfully with the past and present in the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area, carrying their experiences here into the future. And this is a project that really demonstrates that vision. So this award from the Maryland Historical Trust recognizes excellence in public programming and exhibits. And we are honored by this award, and we are so pleased to share in it with you, all of you, our partners in this effort. So we look forward to seeing what traffic we'll see on the GeoTour for the next few years. Our generous funders have allowed us to keep this going for 5 years after the inaugural launch. And so we have time to see where it goes next and what updates we might want to add to it. And so as I transition to our next speaker, I want to make sure to recognize Kitri Post, who could not be here today. She was our MD 250 fellow last summer, and she did the research and writing for the individual cache pages. Today, she's at work at the Maryland Center for History and Culture, and we are pleased to have been a stepping stone in her path, in her career after finishing grad school. And her internship, of course, was made possible by the MD 250 fellowship, which funded her for a summer as our intern. And so Michelle Johnson, the director of the Maryland 250 Commission, you made that fellowship possible, and I would like to invite you to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. We have almost 200 grantees, and I will tell you this, Emily is our most enthusiastic of all of the 200, or almost 200. So I'm delighted to be here today in beautiful downtown Frederick, where I spent many wonderful, actually 2 wonderful decades. And what a great place with so many friends. I'm here today representing the Maryland 250 Commission and our chair, Governor Paris Glendening, and our vice chair, former First Lady Katie O'Malley. The commission was authorized on July 3rd, 2023 by executive order of Governor Wes Moore with planning, encouraging, and executing an inclusive statewide commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. There are local 250 commissions in all but one county of Maryland, and we value our Frederick County partners, the Heritage Area, and the Frederick County U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commission. And just to make sure, is there anybody here who does not know the word semi-quincentennial? Don't be embarrassed if you don't. Well, why don't we do some practice? Let's say it together. Repeat after me. Semi-quincentennial. Put it all together. Semi-quincentennial. And my job as director of this commission is to work the state up into a frenzy over the semi-quincentennial. So again, the commission has awarded nearly 200 small grants totaling a little more than $1.1 million with grants in every Maryland county, including $38,000 to Frederick County government entities and organizations. And the commission was really proud to support this GeoTour project being celebrated today with a $7,500 Maryland 250 Fellows grant. And the Maryland 250 Fellows Grant Program was established by the Commission to support museums and history and heritage and cultural organizations in hiring paid interns to work with a mentor on a meaningful project. And that is exactly what happened here. And I did meet Kitri last summer, and what a great opportunity. Win-win for everyone. And this was the only GeoTour project in the state that the Commission was asked to support. And I must admit that I had to ask one of our young staff members, what is this? When I was reading this application, because I had never heard of it. But anyway, now I know. And Emily, your enthusiasm is so contagious. On behalf of the commission, I congratulate our friends at the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area for this innovative project and really something so unique in our state, and for all of your great work on the 250th. And you were working on the 250th before I was even hired. And I really, I just commend you for that. And so thank you. Thank you for inviting me to be here today.
All right, now I think I would like to invite our elected officials to make remarks today. And so I know Senator Karen Lewis Young, if you'd like to.
And I would like to ask my colleagues from District 3 to please join me. Thank you. I think you all know them. They were introduced in your original comments. Delegate Chris Baird, Delegate Kim Kirk, and Jocelyn representing Delegate Karen Simpson. I have a citation which congratulates the Civil War Heritage for this prestigious award. I'm not going to repeat the program that is behind it or what the tour is. You've heard many good informational pieces about that. But I do want to share with you my perspective of why this award is so symbolic of Frederick County. As you all know, we're the fastest growing county in the state. There are many reasons for that. We have been able to marry our very rich historical heritage with a very forward-looking anticipation of the jobs and the technology and the industries of the future. Sometimes it's difficult to bridge that gap, no less make them work together. And that's why I think this award is so symbolic of Frederick's success. It recognizes our rich history, but it couples it with technology to make it more interesting, more appealing, particularly to younger people, and more accessible. So once again, Frederick County, we respect, honor the past, but always looking forward to anticipate the future. So who should be the recipient of You'll take that?
Thank
and
you.
I also want to ask my colleagues if they want to add anything to
And it does well.
that. Okay.
Thank
Well,
you
thank
so
you.
much.
I think really quick, just a special shout out to everybody who was on board. People don't often realize what it takes to projects. So, whoever was managing the grants, making sure everybody's on their P's and Q's for it. Emily, as soon as you said that email, I was like, what is this? I think Pokemon check. So thank you so much. I'm really excited.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
I'd like to invite county council members if you'd like to say anything.
Thank you. County Council Member Keegan and myself are thrilled to be here and celebrate with you. Obviously, our county's logo or mantra is rich history, bright future. We're very proud of our history and we embrace that. We're also very proud of what Frederick County has developed into to attract people here. And part of it is the history and the great things that are going on here. I have some comments that Councilmember Keegan had prepared, but just want to briefly say, in Frederick County, we have such a great diverse amount of things that folks can go to that include the Monocacy National Battlefield, the African American heritage that we have here in our county, the many things like Mount Olivet Cemetery. I'm 10th generation Frederick County, and so most of my family is in Mount Olivet. So as you go through there and just look at the history and the differences of folks, and you watch people that walk around, obviously they have a great historian as well there that documents the history of our of folks and what happened there. That's what makes Frederick County so special, is that people can come here, they can enjoy our history, they can enjoy now great new restaurants. Soon in 2 years, they'll have a great new downtown hotel to stay at, to be able to spend time in our county and maybe extend that from 2.2 days to 5.2 days will be a great impact on our community and allow folks to enrich their history, to enrich their knowing of what happened in Frederick County, because our past is important to document and to remember, but it's also what shapes our future. And we want to make sure that our county continues to be a place that's forward thinking, but honors and preserves the history that we have here. So this award is a great recognition of that. We congratulate you on that award, and I'll allow Councilmember Keegan would like to say a few words.
I'll just say that my kids love to go to geocaching. They started with the Pokemon stuff, and now they've moved on to geocaching, and their favorite place to go is along the Appalachian Trail. So appreciate all of the little hidden treasures. Hopefully we put ones back that are as memorable as the ones that they found. And thanks for everything you do. Congratulations on this award, and look forward to seeing you out there on the trail.
And I'll say I'm not as cool as Councilmember Keegan here. I've never geocached, so I have to get some lessons on that.
You can go.
I like the word cash, so we'll have to figure out the other part of being a financial planner, but I will work on that for maybe by this time next year. I know.
All right, thank you so much. And so now I would like to invite Elizabeth Hughes for the presentation. Fit everybody right? Yes. Okay. Great. Excellent.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Emily, and good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Hughes. I'm the director of the Maryland Historical Trust, and I'm here today as part of the Trust's annual Maryland Preservation Awards program. Since 1975, the Maryland Historical Trust has been making these awards to recognize projects that find creative and engaging ways to connect people with Maryland's history and cultural heritage. I'm especially pleased to be joined today by so many representatives of state and local government and the nonprofit partners that appreciate this project that led to the award and are in support of it. So thank you all for coming out today to join in this recognition. As we've already heard, we're together today to celebrate an innovative public program that encourages people to explore historic places in a new way. It's my honor to present the 2026 Maryland Preservation Award for Excellence in Public Programming and Exhibits to the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area for the U.S. 250th GeoTour. As part of the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of America's founding, the GeoTour uses geocaching to lead participants to over 20 historic sites across Carroll, Frederick, and Washington counties. Through a mobile app, users locate physical and virtual caches at museums, battlefields, cemeteries, historic landscapes, and Main Street communities, including Catoctin Furnace, Monocacy National Battlefield, Ellsworth Cemetery, the Hancock Toll House, and Union Mills Homestead. Each stop features interpretive content developed with an MD 250 fellow, which we heard about earlier, connecting visitors to the region's history and the nation's 250th anniversary. The GeoTour highlights stories of the Civil War, African American history, agriculture, immigration, transportation, and women's history, encouraging visitors to explore sites and engage with local communities. What makes this project especially notable is the broad partnership behind it. And we all know we can't do projects like these unless we have collaborative partnerships. The Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area worked with museums, municipalities, preservation organizations, and the Maryland Geocaching Society to create a coordinated regional experience. Since launching in September 2025, the GeoTour has generated thousands of visits and drawn visitors from across and beyond Maryland, supporting heritage tourism and local economies. And Emily gave us some great statistics related to that I'm sure we'll continue to track and will be exciting to see, and a great model for other communities to undertake. The GeoTour shows how technology and creative interpretation can connect new audiences to historic places, encouraging exploration and community engagement as a model for future public history programming. On behalf of the Maryland Historical Trust, I'm pleased to present the 2026 Maryland Preservation Award for Excellence in Public Programming and Exhibits to Mark Newberger and Emily Hubner with the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area. And if you could just come up, I'm going to give you the award. That would be great. Thank you so much. So nice. Emily, thank you. Getting seated and some of the other. Sure.
Hello, I'll just say a couple things. First of all, I just want to thank Emily in the Heart of the Civil War. I've been working with many of you now for almost 10 years now, and it's been a great collaboration. And I also want to thank the Maryland Geocaching Society. I am a former officer, and a couple of the hiders this year are current officers, and working with the Maryland Geocaching Society, having them actually be one of the sponsors this year has really helped out, and it's nice that we are able to show geocaching and the historical locations of the three-county area. I also like to thank all the sites that approved having a physical geocache on their land. A couple of them with this tour, it was actually the first time they've ever had a geocache. And geocaching has been going on for 25 years. Places like Schaefer Farm and Rose Hill Manor had never had one, so that brought a lot of geocachers out to places that probably have never been before. I had never been to Rose Hill Manor, and I've been there like 10 times now trying to get that one all situated, and it's an awesome location. So just want to thank everyone else that has, lots of people helped in making this work.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm Liz Chateau. I'm honored to be the director of the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area, and you can see why. We also have a few members of our board of directors here. You met, of course, Dave Zidelis, Gary Candelaria, our board president, and let's see who else is here. Sean Busher is a director emeritus, former board president, and also co-chair of the Frederick County US 250th Commission. We have some advisory committee members, Bonnie Staub, tourism manager from Carroll County. I don't know if Katie Reichard made it to the, am I missing anybody? Advisory council or board? Well, thank you all for coming. And on behalf of the board and myself, I also want to add my thanks to the Maryland Historical Trust for this recognition. And I want to emphasize our gratitude to Mark and Emily, without whom there would be no GeoTour, resulting in the impact numbers that have been shared. I first met Mark in 2015 when my office was here in this building. A sudden and overwhelming crowd arrived in the visitor center for what was a satellite program of Geo Woodstock. Yes, Geo Woodstock is a thing. It was hosted in Washington County that year, but they had a program at this visitor center. I don't think we knew what to anticipate. I had to step out of my office to help out at the reception desk. And so, but that rush of people, of course, led to good things. Mark and I met. We quickly forged an idea for a geo trail, sort of, you know, we've stepped up a little bit with the Geo Tour, but we forged this idea for the Geo Trail that also went across the 3 counties of the heritage area. It came to fruition in 2016 and continued strong for about a decade. We had a post-pandemic refresh, and many of you all here helped with that. We launched that one at Washington Monument State Park. But then we turned our attention to the nation's semi-quincentennial. It was apparent that the time was right to step up our game to this higher level of the Geo Tour. And once again, Mark dedicated his time, his expertise, the network of geocaching friends and family, his technical know-how to the project. Geocachers, as you've heard, they are a community in all the most positive senses of the word, and it has been our privilege to get to know Mark and members of the Maryland Geocaching Society. And if we count all who log on and share their enthusiasm for this tour online, we literally have geocaching friends from all over the globe. And they're all sending their friends to experience the heart of the Civil War heritage area. Emily was the backbone of this project, securing the funding that's been acknowledged, representing the project at the most recent Geo Woodstock, which was in West Virginia. She led a very well-received conference session on the topic at the Small Museums Association, and she's been masterful in building or enhancing relationships with many of the local sites and nonprofits that now host caches affiliated with the tour. Before we dismiss, I do want to ask that everyone who's here, especially those of you who are certificate recipients and those of you who are here representing a site, you know, we have certificates that we have to give to you. So be sure you stick around and get that certificate, but please, just as you exit here, head around the corner. We're going to gather in front of the big wall mural. It's a wall map mural for a photo. And so be sure you do that. And I also want to say that now, as has been pointed out, is the perfect time to start your geocache adventure. Take advantage of the geocachers who are here today for some advice as you click on that QR code and begin your first steps. We do also have a room full of representatives of historic sites and museums from across our 3 counties. They will be happy to tell you more about visitor opportunities at their locations. And then finally, we have some refreshments that await here, but that's only going to hold you for so long. Downtown Frederick has great locations to enjoy lunch. Many of them are in walking distance. The visitor center staff here will be happy to help you find the perfect spot. So thank you all for coming. Thank you again for this recognition. Stay a minute for that photo, see the exhibits, also partially funded by the Maryland Heritage Areas Authority, and let's continue to celebrate. Thanks again.